Someone Else's War is a novel that tells the story of my grandmother, who was a spy in Greece in the Second World War. You see, just after the war started, the British were looking for people across Europe to work as spies against the Nazis. My grandmother, Olga, had the skills they were looking for. She was an actress, she could speak half a dozen languages, and she was a pretty strong sort of character. So in the months before the Germans invaded Greece, the British trained these people, including my grandmother, in all kinds of skills like sabotage, hand-to-hand fighting, concealment, espionage. So when the Germans did invade in 1941, she went to work, helping smuggle Allied airmen out of the country under the noses of the Germans. Her position in the underground developed as the war went on, and she became one of the Germans' most wanted. But this novel is not just about my grandmother in war. It's about her daughters who were in Australia at the time. She had 5 children, but something happened in that family. There was a tragedy that broke the marriage, and that led her to be in Athens at the time that the Italians and then the Germans invaded in what was to be a very nasty invasion. Before the Germans left Greece, 100,000 Greeks would die in a famine. Now, while she's sabotaging, fighting and spying in Greece, her children faced war in Australia as well. And what I wanted to do with this novel was to explore how the stories of mother and daughters fitted together, because her children thought that she was dead, and Olga was in some kind of time lock, still thinking of her daughters as young girls, but they had grown into women. Her oldest, Nellie, my mother, had married. So as Olga faced death every day in the war in Europe, Nellie was facing the same enemy on the other side of the world. I've tried in Someone Else's War to take the reader through the events of 2 countries and the lives of 2 women, mother and daughter. But most important, it's a story about 2 strong women who did more than just survive in that most terrible of times. Every day, the stories from across the world make Someone Else's War just as relevant now as it ever was. I hope you enjoy it and are uplifted by it.